You are now listening to the new Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time at bringdowntheband.com, and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, and Sun King Brewery. Support the new Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the new Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. The entire crew is here. This is our last show, which sounds crazy, for 2020. Over this crazy ass year that we've had. So we're going to go over some albums and talk about some standouts over the year. But we'll also have a couple topics that we'll squeeze in before we get to that. Crew is here. Voice of Indianapolis, aka Kansas City Mac. My man Jay Moore, what's happening?
I got my 5.5 miles in today.
Okay.
So that was good. Enjoyed my Christmas holiday as much as I could. We did Zoom Christmas with the family, socially distanced.
I'll take that.
But heading into these last few days, I'm still healthy and I'm still here, which really puts me ahead of the game. So it is what it is.
We'll call it a blessing, man. We'll call it a blessing. My man DJ Jay Diff, what's happening?
Salutations. What's going on, G?
Oh man, I can't call it. How was your holiday, bro?
I was chill, man. Just kicked it at the crib for the most part. Had dinner, opened some presents. This was the first Christmas that Taylor could actually open her own gifts. So
I know she cleaned up.
Not necessarily knowing what she's getting, but she can actually pull the wrapping off. You know what I'm saying? But that was fun.
I know she cleaned up.
Oh yeah, she's sitting like Ricky Schroeder right now, man. Yeah. She got a train set to go around the damn living room.
Saw that.
She got a slide.
Yeah.
Amongst other things, man. Yeah, she's definitely blessed.
I can dig it.
Sure that train set wasn't for you, brother?
Nah, unfortunately.
You was out here living your Christmas dream for your daughter.
Listen, if I see...
You know what? I wish I could have got that train set when I was a kid.
Listen here. If y'all... I saw the train. I ever see this brother on that train, I might be out for a couple of episodes. I'm just gonna tell you that. Rounding out the squad.
Y'all know y'all watch Silver Spoons.
Rounding out the squad live from bringing down the band headquarters where my lamp resides. And Longevity, how are you, sir? How was your holiday?
It's my lamp. Yeah, doing all right. Not too bad. My holiday was, I don't know, pretty regular.
Same old.
Nothing too crazy, but it was all right.
So you went back to the
regular ass criminal.
Went back to the A, right?
Yeah, man. Went back, visited a very small get together with my mom's and brother and his wife, and we stopped by where my grandmother's been pretty much locked up in her home for God knows how long. So we went and went by her window and waved at her, and she opened her present, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Pretty much it.
All right, good for her. Good for her. Shout out to the chat. Beg for mercy. I see you. Hack E. I see you. Who else is in here? None better. I see you. If anybody else has jumped in and I missed you, I apologize, but we appreciate y'all as always for rocking with us in the chat. Let's go ahead and jump into the rundown here so we can get to some of these albums here on the second half of the show. Did you guys get a chance to see the article about Master P and Barron Davis possibly buying Reebok? Anybody see that? I know Lone saw it. Terry, did you see that? Jay Moore, did you guys see that?
Yes, yeah. I did.
Okay. But apparently, I thought that was fake initially until I saw a NBA reporter verify that he reached out to Master P and it was confirmed. Apparently, they are trying to purchase Reebok, who is actually owned by Adidas currently. I think it's for $3.8 billion. But a couple of the quotes I pulled, one from Barron Davis is, I think Reebok is being undervalued. It says, I left Nike as a 22-year-old kid representing myself and made the jump to Reebok, which took a chance on me as a creative and as an athlete. He said, I want the people I know, athletes, influencers, designers, celebs, sit at the table with me. Master P chimed in and said, these companies have been benefiting off us. This could be history for this company going black owned. And he told, and that was to he told ESPN that, for me, I think this is extremely dope. I hope they can pull it off. I'm not gonna lie and say I've always been the hugest Reebok fan when it comes to the basketball products or like the shoes or anything like that. But I've always had a pair of Reebok Classics, and they do have they have had shoes in the past that were dope to me. You know, they're more casual, more the low top joints versus the hoop shoes. Just the fact that the possibility of Baron Davis and Master P being able to own Reebok, that's different. Like he talked about, you know, if they were able to purchase it, being able to give Allen Iverson his flowers, you know, for him being a Reebok athlete, I think that's dope. All this is dope to me. I just hope they can pull it off because Master P has always been an incredible entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? But he dabbles in so many things. Like sometimes this will work, sometimes that'll work, and then sometimes it won't. So I'm not saying don't be a hustler, but just move calculated. He seems to do that for the most part. I'm excited about it. I hope he pulls it off. Diff, what you think, man? Like, what do you think about the possibility of this?
I think it's very dope for not only just the culture, but for Master P, so that he doesn't have to promote those Moneyati shoes and shit that he got.
See,
and that ain't a diss or nothing. They just ain't fly like that. So I'm hoping that with the purchase of the Reebok brand, he actually gets to use those designers and innovators, you know, to kind of give him a little fly touch on the shoes and things that he's doing. But no, all jokes aside, I think it's dope for him and Baron Davis, especially being an ex-NBA player, to be able to own an iconic brand like Reebok. Because I mean, when we was coming up, Reebok, before Jordans and everything was taken off, you had the Reebok pump. You know what I'm saying? You had D Brown,
I forgot about
covering up his eyes, dunking on people. You had the didn't Reebok had the black tops too?
Oh, the black top shoe was a big deal. That was for the street ballers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, Reebok is an iconic brand. Yeah, Reebok is an iconic brand, and I think they've just been missing the mark as far as innovation and design. And it's weird because Adidas actually owns Reebok, so you would think that they would kind of use some of the same designers. And that's not saying that Adidas basketball shoes are the greatest, but I mean they do have nice lifestyle shoes at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm being so disrespectful because that's our era with D Brown and the pumps, so and the black tops too. So y'all right, but I just went automatically to those classics. But good points, you're right. Good points. They definitely had some heat. Did you sleep on Reeboks, man, or at any point, or I know your shoe game came up later on as you got older? So do you sleep on Reeboks, or what do you think about this overall?
I mean, I'm not really a shoe head. So I mean,
no,
but I mean, I'm familiar. I mean, one of my first, I mean, I had a pair of Reeboks back in the day, but yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think it's a dope move.
Hey,
Shaq.
Shout out to Shaq.
All right, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, those are fire. I need the other colorway though, but those are dope.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's dope. You know, I think it's a really great move for ownership. I think trying to buy for $2.4 trillion or something like that.
Trillion?
I think
3.8 billion is what 3.8 billion is what I saw in the article. Now you know how the articles be.
Adidas acquired Reebok in 2005 for $3.8 billion.
Oh, so the price probably going up. Okay.
Oh wait, I was wrong. All right, so they're trying to buy it for $2.4 billion. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
A little less than that.
Reeboks ain't worth no trillion. They ain't that iconic.
Right.
Hey, they got pumps and Shaqs. Those will get you through, but not that much.
So yeah, I think it's a dope move, man. I hope it goes through, and you know that I think it would be a really cool. I'd be very interested to see what they did with it.
Yeah. Yep. I agree 100%. And I to Terry's point about the Monyatis, everything about that brand is dope about what it stands for. when you get to the look of the product, I'm like, I saw a couple. But if P went to
And the
Reebok,
price tag he wants.
if P went to Reebok, I you know, because the Reeboks ain't gonna be $275. That ain't in my ballpark. I ain't no baller. I tell you up front, I'm not paying that much. But
Right.
if P has some reasonable joints at Reebok, I definitely would go cop and support him 100%. Jay Moore, what you think, man? Do you think with P being who he is and everybody swear they support Master P, if he was able to purchase Reebok with Baron Davis, do you think people would come over?
I'll just be honest. No. Right now, when we talk about, you know, honestly, let's just be honest. Nike is the gold standard. That is what people stand in line for. And second is Adidas. And that's really, as much as I dislike many of the things that Kanye West seems to have stood for and that he's advocated for in the past 3 to 4 years, like that partnership has yielded so many dividends for Adidas as far as their visibility and what they are able to do in the marketplace. Reebok, unfortunately, has not had that. You know, at one point, Reebok was the manufacturer for the on-field uniforms or jerseys, at least for the NFL. Like, and then they lost that to Nike, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I know that Reebok is part of Adidas now, much like, you know, other brands like CCM. I know this because, of course, my affinity for NHL hockey jerseys, which I'm wearing my Quebec Nordiques joint right now. It's hard to find. You don't have it.
Wow. Go ahead then.
But the thing is, at one point, you know, what kept Reebok in mind as far as, you know, me as a consumer was the fact that they manufactured not only the replica but the authentic NHL hockey jerseys, but now Adidas is taking that over. So if anything, right now Adidas is at an all-time low to where I'm not Adidas rather, but Reebok is an all-time low as far as what they offer to the marketplace. I don't think people are really rushing out to get those legacy sneakers. I don't really know which ones they're offering, other than I've seen them reissue the Allen Iversons.
Now, be clear, those Iversons, damn, I've disrespected Reebok. The Iversons, the questions, Shaq's resale high.
But, you know, Shaq only stayed with them for a short time before he started doing his own Shaq Dunk, you know, dunk.com. You know, he didn't even really.
True.
Kmart shoes. Now they in Walmart.
Yeah, so I mean, he
had some iconic Reeboks though.
He had a couple, but you know, this is the thing. Centers, if you know, like in the NBA, centers never really sold shoes. It was always point guards, shooting guards, the forwards. A center really never sold shoes. That was kind of a weird thing.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Plus, now the offense doesn't go through the center on a basketball team. I think it would be cool because probably with Reebok, and if they could have that as a sense, depending on how much they are going for. But, you know, traditional distribution channels are dying every day, whether it be clothing, whether it be print, whether it be music. You know, to say that Master P owns Reebok, okay, that would be cool. But really, what is the benefit to owning Reebok over maintaining and building, you know, his own brand? You know, so I tell you what. I think there's some advantages, but I think there are a lot of disadvantages to this. But I would like to see him do it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always into
income.
Somebody from the culture doing a big move like this.
Did you say Reebok is going?
I think Reebok is going to yield him more customers than Magnati is off the bat. I think he's winning immediately.
Yeah,
because the platform will be 10 times. It'll be 100 times bigger than what he's doing right now with Magnati. But he'll still have ownership. Go ahead, Lone.
I mean, I see what you're saying, Jay, but at the same time, like I remember a time not too long ago where Adidas wasn't very even. Adidas wasn't very prevalent, and all of a sudden
Adidas was soccer shoes, you know, and track suits. Like,
and then they kind of blew up. I guess that's my point.
Online to get Adidas, it wasn't a thing where you had to go online and people were scalping Adidas shoes. Not until Yeezy got involved with them.
Yeah,
got to give Kanye his props for sure.
So I think my point with that is that maybe right off the bat we may not see this happen, but I think with given a year or two, depending on how they potentially develop things and collaborations that they have, we might see Reebok reemerge as a significant cultural I don't know what the word, representative of sorts. We might see them popular. I could see Reebok making a comeback with different ownership, like with P and Davis. I could see that.
I can see it too, because it's kind of like I don't know if y'all have noticed with Puma, but Puma has been making a significant wave here lately.
Yep.
With the addition of Jay-Z being part of, I don't know if he has an ownership stake in it, but he definitely has something to do with the Puma company. And a lot of these basketball players have been signing with Puma.
Yeah.
Before who passed?
Before Nipsey passed, he had a partnership with.
Oh yeah,
he had a partnership.
He had a deal. Yeah, with like Puma.
That could have really been big.
Agreed.
What's his name? One of the what's my guy's name? The brothers and the loudmouth father.
Oh, Lonzo LaMelo, yeah, the ball.
Lonzo. Yeah, look. So the youngest boss signed with Puma.
Yeah. Yep.
And then last year, it was either last year or the year before. I think it was the year before. One of the top 3 picks signed with Puma as well. You got Kuzma, who also signed with Puma.
I like Cousins. Puma, man. Yeah, I've always liked Puma.
And the Puma silhouette, like on the running shoes, are looking real nice too. So it what it is all about the design team and the eye of whoever's running shit. And it seems like as soon as Jay-Z kind of put his stamp on the Puma side, Puma start making trends in the right direction. And I can see that happening with Reebok as well, especially having Baron Davis, which is a former NBA player. I mean, P is a former NBA player too, but he doesn't have the same NBA pool as a Baron Davis. I think they both can get it done though.
Hey, at the end of the day, I'm excited. I'm pulling for them. I will support this move if they acquire it, and can't wait to see what happens, man. So if they come up with some exclusive stuff, and you know, Baron is still, you know, him and P still tapped into the culture, man. So I think it will be dope pulling for them brothers, and I hope they get it. Let's go ahead and go to the next topic. I saw this video on Pete Rock's Instagram page. Did you have that link that you could possibly share what he said?
Yeah. Let me. I got the video here. Let me pull this up here.
So
Let's pull it up. Yeah.
KRS was pretty much talking about. I'm just paraphrasing here because you'll be able to see the clip, but he's kind of talking about the age-old conversation about generations and how generations perceive music and advancing the culture and that type of thing, and how people his age feel about hip hop and the reason why they feel that way. Interesting comments for what he said, but once we pull the clip up, I'd like you guys to take a look at it, because I feel like this would be looked at as 2020. This immediately will be looked at as hate, and I didn't take it that way. So once Lone gets that clip up, take a look, and I'll be curious to see what y'all think. Keep in mind also that we want to make sure we still get the sponsors in. I know this one could drag on, so just kind of be quick so we can get to.
Let's see here. I'm going to share this. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to hear it, though. That's the only thing.
Oh, okay. Oh. Hey, there's a stream button. Let's see. All right, I see it. Let's see if I can hear it.
Let's jump down to. Let me turn the sound on.
Oh, yeah, I watched this.
Saw it? Okay.
Let me go ahead and play this for you guys.
About, the criticism again. I'm talking.
You hear that?
I can
hear it.
My man real quick about, the criticism against, I guess, the new styles.
I mean, from trap to whatever,
Right. Those who were there from the beginning and originated something are always trying to hold on to the original ingredients. Now the cat's coming in that says, I want to innovate. I want to decorate. I want to push this whole thing forward. Well, you have the same challenge, but on the other end, because if your innovation and decoration, if it's whack and you're trying to come against the four elements, you're trying to come against icon lyricists and you're whack, well, you're going to get played. And in hip hop, it's terrible because once you get played, your career's over. And once your career's over, your money's gone. And when your money's gone, then that's the end of the game for you right there. You may be able to come back next week if you're part of the culture. But if you like many of these people, it's like, yo, I'm only in it for the money. Well, you bump into somebody like KRS One and you just bought your Serato fresh. And I got 20 years of cutting, mixing, and scratching with DJ 𝐀𝐃𝐒, DJ Premier, Grandmaster Flash, Marley Marl, DJ Red Alert, of course, DJ Scott LaRock. You're going to get played. You're going to get played. I'm talking to my man real quick about.
So, yeah, that's that.
All right. So that's the clip from KRS One. When I saw this, the comments, you should see some of the comments that were on there. I don't take that as necessarily hating. I don't look at that as hating. I look at that as him speaking his mind, standpoint as someone that was around when this shit started and the advancement of equipment and things of that nature weren't around. So he's trained, or mentally in his mind, sees it a certain way. He did not say he was against the evolution. He said in comparison to what they did versus what happens now, there might be a reason as to why he says what he says. So what do y'all think about that? Does that come off as hate, or does that come off as him just explaining his point of view? Because I didn't hear this. Lone, I'm coming to you first. What'd you think about that?
I don't think you should come to me first. No, what I'll say is, I get what KRS is saying. And a lot of the older cats like this are like this, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. You know, they're just very protective of the thing that they're a part of building. To me, the only thing that like stands out to me on these type of conversations from the old heads is like, them thinking that them clowning the younger artists matter. Like that doesn't matter. They're gonna still do whatever they're gonna do. You have like some of the older cats, the legends are going to be like to pass the torch in a sense, depending on what exactly we're talking about. But I mean, the younger generation is just taking stuff and rolling with it. And if we've learned anything in the last handful of years, like, who cares if people like, they don't care if they're whack because they have fans, you know? True. So true. I don't know, that's my initial take, but I'll see what you guys say, and maybe I'll have something else to say.
I'm not mad at that. I can't see Jay Moore. Is he still in here? He's got the purple squares. I can't see him.
I'll go to Terry.
He's got the purple squares. Up in there, man. What'd you think about it? Or did you just freeze? Uh-oh. I think Terry's got I see a mute button on you, bro. Did you unmute it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
There you go. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Jump it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you. Jump in there, Terry. Did you get a hate vibe, or did you get an OG just telling his perspective vibe?
I mean, I think it's not a conversation that hasn't been had before, as far as the OGs, right, and kind of talking to younger cats in a sense, because I mean, even and we've had discussion too, as far as hip hop being the only genre that the youngsters and the older cats aren't on common ground. It doesn't seem like in rock and roll, you don't hear new people that are coming out that are doing rock and roll, and the older ones kind of going at each other. I mean, you kind of had it with like Nirvana. I think they had some issues with Guns N' Roses or something at one point.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all remember that, but it's not an ongoing thing, and I think it is with hip hop. It's even I don't know if y'all seen the Young Thug interview when he was talking about Jay-Z not having 40 hits that a crowd or a concert will be singing at the same time, and he does. But he corrected himself real quick because he already knew he didn't want that smoke. There's no way Jay-Z don't have 40 hits. He's touring. He's stadium touring.
I think,
you know what I'm saying? He's on a whole nother level. That's a whole nother level of respect.
Yeah.
You said what?
You said 30.
30? Well, all right, 40.
Well, either way, yeah.
he has more than 30. You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's 10. We talking about Jay-Z. Somebody has been in the game since what, 90? Well, actually before that, because if you count Hawaiian Sophie, that was in the 80s. But as far as Jay-Z being an artist by himself, with 95, 96, you know what I'm saying? So he definitely has 40 hits that he could tour with. I understand what KRS One is saying. I don't necessarily think it's a diss either. I think it's just him kind of just talking from a KRS point of view. Simple as that.
Got you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it. The only reason I said it was a little different is because normally when you hear the conversation, it's kind of them versus us versus them. Like he actually came at it from a standpoint of the craft and what he was around. Like that's what stood out to me on this one. That's the only thing that made it a little different. Like he actually was just justifying it based off being one of the originators and what it was like then versus now. I just didn't get the hate vibe. I really didn't get a hate vibe.
I didn't necessarily get a hate vibe, but I got a vibe that was like, kind of like elitist in a way, like.
KRS always, to your point, I think he always kind of comes across as an elitist, to be honest with you.
And
I do agree with you on that.
And the fact that Pete Rock reblogged it doesn't surprise me because Pete Rock does the same thing. So those are, two older cats that talk about this type of thing on a regular basis. So I don't know.
To me, you know what I think it kind of stems from? I think that some of the older cats feel slighted that the younger cats don't reach out to them to collab or they don't shout them out in certain songs and blah, blah, blah. I think that's one of the problems that a lot of artists like KRS One or Ninth Wonder have with these younger artists.
You think
I think a lot of these younger artists don't even know much about KRS One and Ninth Wonder. And that's just simple truth. Because even when Lil Bo or Lil Yachty came out, remember he was saying he didn't know much about Biggie.
Yep.
And that's all with who your parents are and who they listen to. You know what I'm saying? So you can't necessarily blame it on the kids. I mean, I know I came from a situation where I pretty much set out my own music as far as hip hop was concerned. But at the same time, I didn't listen to everything. So I can't really sit here and say that I was hip and listening to every single thing that came out. But I will say that I have a good knowledge of the good shit, at least, in my honest opinion. So
Jay, do you have volume? I'm just curious.
Check one. Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just had to restart the system here, so we're good. No, but I've listened to everything that everyone said. Look, a lot of times I love KRS One. I'm from that era, but we cannot be so afraid of what the young cats are doing that we just automatically say, oh, that's not hip hop. That's not this. This is not that. At the same time, it does bother me that we are, as a culture, we have such disregard for the people who came before us. Because also as somebody who loves R&B, and I talked about this last week, is like I'm born in 1977, but I know the Motown era. I know Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I know Blue Magic, and just because I love New Edition, like I and that was my group, going into the Guy and going Boys to Men and Jodeci. I wanted to see where they got their influence from. I just didn't act like, oh, this music that came before, it's boring or I don't get it, so I'm just going to dismiss it. Like I think that's where some of the hate comes from. That and I'm just using Young Thug because he's in the news right now for saying that he got more stadium hits than Jay-Z, which is crazy. But
I think that was just clout. He got an album coming out, in my opinion.
You wind up, for whatever reason, whoever the new generation of hip hop is, they wind up. It's almost like they're so willfully ignorant about what came before, and it's almost like they wear that ignorance as a badge of honor. So I think that's the problem. I think maybe the KRS One, and I could be wrong. I'm not trying to put words into his mouth, or Pete Rock or Ninth Wonder, but that's where I think a lot of the frustration comes from. That, you know, there are artists today, and you ask them like, oh, what do you know about Raekwon? What do you know about, you know, Ghostface Killer? And they're like, I don't know anything about that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're so happy to be ignorant.
And they're so dismissive. They're so dismissive when they do it.
They're a lot, like, it's crazy. One of my favorite things to watch on YouTube, there's this young kid, he might be 19, and to see, and he goes through and he listens to not old, but like hip hop records from my era. Like he played Break of Dawn by De La Soul and lost his mind. Like he was like, I don't know who these cats are, but they're incredible. I'm gonna have to do my research on them. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think that's the thing that we don't with this new generation. They only care about what's hot right now. Like they don't even have respect for somebody who's got money like Jay. It's not even about money.
Yeah,
it's just about like, I don't feel that because it's not my era.
I think part of the problem too is not just on the youth or the young up and comers. I think
Jeopardy music.
We have a.
Can you hear me?
Jeopardy music.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Shout out to them CBS earbuds.
Hey, we're working though.
Hey, but not what I was saying. It's not all on the up and coming artists. It's partly to do with some of the older artists not being OGs and cultivating these artists, or people trying to come up under them, kind of giving them the guidance, but letting them swim on their own. And I think that's where a lot of the disrespect comes from younger artists, because they feel like they're not getting assistance or aid. You know what I'm saying? That it's not the same. There's no torch being handed, so to speak.
I think there's a pause.
You're like
there's a pause. There's a pause in your audio, bro.
You're jumping in and out like every 2 seconds, but I agree with that. I think if we're going to compare, like if the one thing that I will say is I feel like it's on the older or the elder generation in general to guide the younger generation more so than vice versa. And that's why I think it's always kind of bad taste whenever I see like old heads like get mad at younger cats. Definitely. And, you know, and a lot of times they want to say things like, well, they didn't pay homage. I'm like, well, did you reach out to them? You know, like,
oh yeah.
So that's, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm coming from it, but I get it. I mean, I understand the frustration, but it's like, you know, it's accountability on both sides.
I think what gets lost in translation is also it gets confused, because I feel like two things that are fused together is paying homage and then also criticism, or not criticism, but constructive criticism or critiquing. Because whenever a OG is, you know, kind of looking for, I guess, some love, or even not reaching out for the love, that always gets confused with their hating. And that's the part to me that always gets lost, because anytime an older person says anything addressing a newer generation, and it could not even be hate, it could be just the quality of music doesn't, you know, resonate with them and they think it's trash. Like that's we're in an opinion era. Like everybody's opinion now is hate. In 2020, if I say I don't like it, that don't mean that I'm hating. That's one of my favorite bars from Common. I'm like, yo, man, it's trash. It ain't for me, man. But hey, y'all rock with it. It's cool.
You just said it was trash.
As a hater.
You just called it trash
to me.
Right, but that is hating, isn't it?
It's trash a little harsh. Is that a little harsh?
Trash might be a little harsh.
So what if I said I don't like it, man? It's just not for me. But you know, to each his own. Do your thing. Is that better?
I mean, I think
that's better. That's better than saying trash.
Maybe I can phrase it better.
Dismissing something like, look,
I mean, I say it's trash.
It's language.
Okay,
it's
that's
language,
fair.
right?
Okay,
look,
that's fair.
I'm, you know, of course, y'all know I'm still in the clubs, you know, getting my little money the way I can, and I hate that Megan Thee Stallion record, Body. That shit is not that. I don't like that record at all. I think it's terrible.
I'll never listen to that song again.
Also, I'm 43 years old. I'm a man, but when I see there's a whole bunch of girls in the club,
yes,
and
sir.
shout out to brother to the night who's in the chat room, and we're working together, I'll be like, yo, it's time to drop that, because like my whole thing is there's a difference between do I like it or will it work? Because if I had to go off of will I like it, I wouldn't be able to get money the way I'm able to get money. Like if I just played the stuff I like, the only night I'd do is Take That Tuesday.
Yes, sir. And I agree with you 100% there. I'm not mad at that, because there are joints that I don't care to listen to ever again in my life. But there's no doubt about it that they will go off at the right time in the right situation. That's always been music.
We need to have a conversation sometime on the show. And I don't know if it's this week, probably not this week, but we need to have a conversation about, is the club, what percentage of does it work in the club? Because this is a conversation we have a lot because Jay works in the club, right? What percentage of hip hop works in the club? And is that even an argument?
I think it is.
But hold on, let's table that one. I want to table that one.
Who are in the club aren't part of the culture.
I want to table that one for we could do that. Popping it. We're gonna pop that one off next year.
We have to do a deep dive on that.
Let's pop that one off next year. Put a pin in that one, Long, because I want to get to these albums.
Somebody write that in the Discord so I remember it, because I'm gonna forget that damn thing.
Yeah, I don't want him to forget that one. The percentage of you just worded it so cold. We'll pull the tape up. Let's go to the sponsors, our partners, real quick, man, so we can get into some of this music from 2020 before we end the year on a good note.
Yep.
We'd like to thank our partners for the New Old Heads podcast: No Bad Ideas Clothing Company, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, Sun King Brewery, and the hub for all things New Old Heads, bringingdowntheband.com. Remember, once you type Bringing Down the Band in the search bar on YouTube and the page populates, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, we thank you for your support. Now back to the show. All right, y'all. Thanks for rocking with us. We are back. Shout out to our partners as always. I see the chat is beefed up a little bit. Shout out to my homie DJ Harvey Dent. I call him my East Coast family. High Yellow Soul is what he rocks with on Twitch. Y'all make sure y'all follow that man. Subscribe to him. He gets me through a lot of boring work days. So make sure y'all rock with my boy DJ Harvey Dent. He always represents out East. Brother to the night. Sorry,
everybody. No, I was just gonna say real quick. Yeah, shouts to Naughty Pie as well. I was like, and as I got to do the Twitch Prime shout. Shouts to people that if you want to support on Twitch, you don't got to spend no money. If you have an Amazon Prime, just link your Twitch with it. You can subscribe to us, no cost to you. Bada boom, bada bing. It's a win-win. We take Bezos' money, we repopulate it back in the community, which what he doesn't do.
In the community, I see you, Long. I see you, Long. Give it back to the community. We're gonna take his money and put it back in the hood. I like that, Long. That's what's up. Shout out to Corporate Cole is in the she might not be Corporate Cole in the chat. Nicole in the building. All right, let's get to some music for the year of 2020. I asked everybody to get some sort of a list. It can be, handful of your favorite rap albums. Hell, if you got some R&B joints that stood out. I don't want to go into detail for time's sake for each one, but you can just highlight a list of a few and maybe, speak briefly on one that stood out to you, and then we'll just kind of toss it around and go from there. So Jay Diff, I know you got a list, and I know you listen to, we all listen to some everything, so you probably got some R&B and some hip hop as well. So name a few joints that stood out to you this year, man, and standout records.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit.
Give me something.
And I know I left some stuff off here. This is me just writing stuff down off the top of my head that I've been listening to this year, right? So my hip hop joints, Reason, New Beginnings, that really stood out to me. TDE release. It was something about it was just really dope to me. Of course, the Freddie Gibbs, Alchemist, Alfredo. That mug, self-explanatory.
Yes, sir.
Fox legend guy. I like energy. And I hate to be that dude that's biased and say just because I was there during sessions or, you know what I'm saying, had a little bit of input or an ear for it on it, it still turned out to be one of the best releases I heard this year. And that's just facts. Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof. To me, out of the trio of Griselda, Benny the Butcher has always been my favorite. And that release, Burden of Proof, is just the one for me. I don't know. West Side Gun. So I got 2 Griselda joints on here. Pray for Paris.
Okay.
Stand out a joint as well. I got a couple honorable mentions. J Electronica, Written Testimony. Honorable mention. Big Sean Detroit 2. Honorable mention. And that Nas King's Disease. And then I got, for my R&B joints, R&B or other per se, I got Dinner Party by Terrace Martin, Kamasi Washington, Robert Glasper, and Ninth Wonder. Bryson Tiller, y'all might be sleep on this one. The Bryson Tiller, the anniversary joint was actually pretty dope, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Thundercat, It Is What It Is, was dope. Definitely good. Xavier Omar, If You Feel, good album. Another joint, cat named Giveon had a release called Take Time, really good release. Leon Bridges and a group called Kruggen Band, something like that, had a release called Texas Sun, which was an EP that was really good. And those are my R&B and other joints. So run this back if y'all need to hear those again. We might actually even have them listed in the description so you can be up on them.
We could drop them in the Discord too if you guys want to drop the. We can put this in a thread.
Okay,
might be a good idea.
Jay Moore, give me a quick rundown. Give me a list of some albums that stood out to you in 2020.
Okay, because I will be releasing Jay Moore's favorite joints of 2020 on all of my social media.
Okay.
First, so you guys have something to argue about if you're in the house and you're not going out on New Year's Eve. I'm not going to give you all of them here. But my top joint for the year, I'll just be honest, the one that I listened to the most was Pray for Paris by West Side Gun. I love that record.
Yes.
He put out a couple more joints this year. I thought that one was the one, if people could go outside and it was really a time for us to, to really share and vibe to music in public spaces. Like, I feel like that's the one that would have really set it off.
People.
Wow.
This is a record I really love that if the clubs were open, it would have been a problem. And we can talk about this when in our first 2021 conversation about the clubs and what's relevant in hip hop. Like I said, I'm not going in order. I'm leaving some out just because I want to have some suspense for my list that I release on social media. The Hustle Continues by Juicy J. That's in my top 5. It's not 5, but it's in my top 5.
Okay.
Burden of Proof by Benny the Butcher. I think that's on everybody's list. As far as like favorite hip hop albums. Streams of Thought, Volume 3 by Black Thought. I started really running that probably the last month or so. I mean, I love that record. Run the Jewels 4, not my favorite Run the Jewels album, but still, I think a really good album and very much reflective of what's going on in the world right now. Even though I've had my criticisms for Jay Electronica on this show, and I've been very honest about how I feel about, I think it's more about his work ethic and not actually his ability to put an album together, because like I did really enjoy a Written Testimony. I just felt like it was a Jay-Z album featuring Jay Electronica, but like that doesn't take away from the fact that as a singular piece of art, it was something that I enjoyed. And a record that we talked about a little bit here and I don't think got a lot of pub, for whatever reason. And this is, I don't want to say this is a sleeper because of who he is, but I've listened to A Beautiful Revolution by Common a few more times, and I've really got to enjoy that record. As far as like my R&B bag cool and R&B dude, but like I just couldn't get into the R&B this year. What I loved? I feel like Usher put out 2 incredible songs and y'all completely lamed out on them. Like Don't Waste My Time featuring Ellie Mae. I thought that was an incredible record.
That is fire.
And I really love Bad Habits, which is playing on urban AC radio, but I guess it's too R&B to play on mainstream hip hop urban radio. I think that is a fantastic, especially when it goes into the Computer Love breakdown. And it, you know, it works when you play it out in public. It's just like it's so not what the sound is right now as far as what the R&B that they're playing on mainstream urban radio. But I feel like if we could go outside, Usher would have had a much bigger year. You know, like I said, my full list will be out in a day. Actually, 2 days.
Sound like you got a whole list of stuff tucked. So I'll be curious.
I got a few. I think it's a consensus about what was good this year and what was. I think the one that I think a lot of people are sleeping on just because we're not outside is the Juicy J album. That's an incredible project.
I can't wait to hear
Juicy J. I will to your point. The Juicy J album definitely has some bangers on there, and if the club was open like it's supposed to be, that mug will be going off. But I want to shout out Brother to the Night, because that 𝗀𝐄𝐎, I think that's her name, 𝐾𝐂 album was definitely dope. I do love that album too.
That's the one I got.
Yeah,
that's the one I got to get back on, because I see that on everybody's list and I missed it. Go ahead, Lone, because I want to hear your list. I'm curious to see what you got.
Yeah, I got some projects. I have a song too that I'm curious. I'm going to drop the name of it in the chat real quick. I'm curious if you guys have heard this one, because this song is fire. I don't know his name. 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐃. Here, I'll just share it. That joint. And featuring Natalie. That joint is really, really cold. And I went back and did a deep dive on a lot of this guy's music, and it's actually really, really dope. But anyways, projects. Well, a lot of the projects I'm going to share are ones that are not on anybody's list so far. So
I love it. That's why I'm excited.
The obvious ones that we kind of agree on, that I think most people in the chat probably have bumped, are the Gibbs Alchemist, Alfredo Ray, Burden of Proof by Benny, Black Thought Streams of Thought 3. Those are three that I did enjoy. I will say that this year for me, it's not that I didn't listen to a lot of music. I didn't listen to a lot of newer music on repeat as much as I have in the past. And I don't know if that's because of the year circumstance or what exactly. But here's a handful of joints as well. One that just dropped was Murs and DJ Fresh's Love and Rockets Volume 2. Now, I was a really big fan of Murs the first time I heard him, which was his Ninth Wonder album 316. I thought that, and to this day, that's my favorite Murs record. But Love and Rockets 2 to me is the closest he's come to an album like that. The production is really, really dope. Very consistent. I really like his song or his subject matter. I'm a fan of that. Odyssey. Now, he dropped the Odd Cure this year. Now, granted, I don't think the Odd Cure was his best work necessarily. It kind of sounded like it was maybe a continuation of the latest style of music that he's been putting out. Because with Odyssey, we've come to expect, and I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily, like a different type of sound every time he drops a new record. And Odd Cure was kind of similar to the last project.
Yep.
I think it was really good, and I think it got slept on a little bit, but that was a dope record. One of the ones that I really liked this year, one of my favorites from this year, was 𝗀𝐻 and Chris Keys' Innocent Country 2. The beats were really cold. The concepts are really dope.
That's the one I couldn't remember. That's the one I couldn't remember that you put me on. That shit is fire. That shit is fire.
𝗀𝐻 has an interesting voice, so if you're not really into 𝗀𝐻, you may not like it, but I thought it was really dope. Open Mike Eagle dropped Anime, Trauma, and Divorce. Again, Open Mike Eagle is kind of an eclectic type of artist, so if you're not into like his unique style of lyricism and production choices, you may not dig it, but I feel like this was one of his most strongest personal projects. I actually liked it quite a bit. What else we got here? I got a handful more. Suff Daddy. This ain't a hip hop record necessarily, but Suff Daddy dropped Pompette. Really, really dope project. Just, Stuff Daddy very rarely misses ever. I would also throw in, I don't know what he goes by. I think I always call him Khan, but it's K-A-A-N, with the little periods in between it.
Yeah.
He did a project with Flo Fields called Lost in Translation that was pretty smooth. I really like that joint a lot. I suggest looking that up. I'm going to share all these in the chat too, so you guys can see the names. I think I got two more. Devin Burgess dropped a project called Alano. Devin Burgess is a cat that Mike, you and I met when we did that show at that the Healer place. He was with them cats from Cincinnati.
From Cincinnati. Yep.
Yeah, and so he's a real cool cat, but he's a really dope producer, and he's a dope rhymer as well. He dropped a project called Alone. If you're not familiar with him, I would definitely suggest checking that out. Definitely kind of more underground, so you most likely haven't heard of him. But if you have, hey, props to y'all. And the last one I'm gonna throw out there is the local nobody. Shouts to Suleiman and Mavian for getting back together and dropping a new project.
That's the fam right there. That's the fam.
And Suli's one of my favorite rappers, period. And Mavian's a really talented musician. So I'm a big local nobodies fan. So I was happy to see them put out new music. So check out See What Happens. And then, of course, there's a ton of other music too, but that's just
all right.
Quick run.
So I'll be brief. So
there's a lot of dope stuff out there.
Yeah. Let's see. So
I hate when people say that there ain't nothing out there though. That's what kills me.
Y'all mentioned
people say they're really connected. I mean, yeah. I'm just saying, everybody who complains about there being no good hip hop, if you have a smartphone, if you got one of these and you got Tidal, or you got, which is what I have, Spotify or whatever, basically you have access to almost every song ever released ever in the history of music. For you to say that there's nothing good to listen to and that your favorite artists aren't doing anything is like, those artists that you want music from, quote unquote, from back in the day, they're still putting, people's like, oh, well, I loved when Public Enemy was out. Public Enemy put out a new album this year.
Whodini Mob put out an album this year. All of that.
I hate hearing those complaints.
Yeah,
about
my whole thing is
you're not required to listen to Megan Thee Stallion and whoever else is on the radio. Like, if you don't like that music,
people's problem is they're lazy listeners and they don't want to dig and find stuff that they actually like they did when they was younger. It's like they're stuck in the same rut and they want to keep hearing the same stuff from the same artist. But there's artists that are up and coming that are just as good.
Yep.
100%. I have to get put on. Like, I always pay attention to people that try to send me something. I get excited for it because there's a lot that I probably am missing out on. So I get excited when somebody that I deem credible will send me something like, yo, you have to go listen to this right now. But as for my list, y'all pretty much, I mean, only one I didn't hear, I don't think from you guys was, I don't think anybody mentioned King's Disease. I don't think anybody mentioned
that was
Terry
an honorable mention.
Oh, honorable mention. Okay, Terry did. Okay. I got Yo Gotti Untrapped was one that I didn't hear. I like that one.
You ain't fuck with Yo Gotti.
Don't do that. I'll be riding Yo Gotti, I'm telling you. Currency and Harry Fraud's the director's cut. Nicole hype about that. That was dope. Did anybody mention Conway's From a King to a God? I can't remember. We mentioned that.
I was saving
that.
Talked
about it in the Okay.
It was cool. It's cool.
I like that.
It wasn't in my top 5.
Y'all named most of them, man.
Be careful now.
Yeah. Sky Zoo Milestones. I thought that was dope.
No, that Sky Zoo was dope.
Let's see. Nobody named Buster. That's my man DJ Nate Jeezy. He have a
that's an honorable mention.
Yeah, he have a
the top 5, but it's definitely top 10.
He have an asthma.
I wish they would have put out somebody get an album. Put out a version without Chris Rock.
Hey, my dude Nate Jeezy have an asthma attack.
Hey, some of the Chris Rock shit makes sense though. Some of it.
Not all of it, but some of it. And other than that, Libra, I like that. That was dope. But y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head for the rest of them. Other than that, man, Cleo Soul is fire. Rose in the Dark. That's
I'm sleep on that one. I gotta get hit.
Please go check that out. Cleo Soul, Rose in the Dark. Very good. That's high on my list. Carlita Duran's Green, I believe is how it's pronounced. That album is dope. Shout out to the homie tall black guy. He had a joint on there with Zoe. Fire. Janae Aiko, I think it's Chilumbo is how you pronounce it. That's dope. And CeeLo Green is Thomas Calloway. Is fire, like good traditional songwriting. CeeLo just gets slept on to me as an artist, man. That shit is dope. If you really sit down and listen to it, it's got some heat. So those are the ones that stood out to me.
What if we don't really sit down and listen to it?
You know how you can really sit down, you can halfway sit down, you can squat. Album's still gonna be fire. But those are the ones that stood out to me.
What about I was gonna say, okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, please listen to that Cleo Soul. If I was to give y'all one to really go listen to that you haven't heard, go listen to that one. That one is fire. Go ahead, Long.
I was just gonna say, if you had one song, you guys got a song this year that stands out?
One song?
I forgot to mention
one.
I forgot to mention Lil Baby too. Lil Baby's album was dope. I like that one too. I forgot to mention him. But his album was dope.
Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch. Shout out to Roddy Ricch. He put out a good project. So did YG. People didn't really
Rich's album
vibe with that YG project.
Year.
That was a good project.
Yeah. Roddy Ricch was 19.
There was technically 2019 joint stuff.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah, everything's running together. 19. Like I forget that Tiger King was this year. I mean, like I just don't
know. If I had to pick a song though, Long, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's this year's a blur, bro. When it comes to a song, man. Like
that Scotty Beam was hard though. Scotty Beam.
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard.
Yeah.
What's his name? Man.
For me, I'll just be honest. I mean, as much hip hop as I listen to, if we could have been outside like at the Red Room on Thursday nights, drinking bourbon and smoking cigars, I'm telling you, Usher's "Don't Waste My Time" with Ellie Mae, that would have been the song of the summer.
That song was
fire. We actually, I think I want to say it was out before everything shut down, wasn't it?
It was out
it had a little moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Because
I think we might have snuck it in. I think we might have snuck it in.
We did. I remember. I remember Indiana Jones really messed with that song. So
I think we snuck that shit in.
It was before the complete shutdown, but I feel like it could have had a whole nother life over the summer if we'd have. It's one of them songs that felt like summertime.
Oh, MCA.
Yeah, definitely.
MCA dropped a good project too.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had some slaps on the low.
Don't sleep on that one. Don't sleep on that one.
MCA has
DJ 𝐀𝐄 put out a dope, because his lead single had, and this feels like so long ago, but it was this year. It was with Bun B and Queen Latifah of all people, and it slapped.
I saw it. It slapped. Yeah, man. Like it was some good stuff on there. I did not think I was gonna rock with Lil Baby's album like I did, but he got some heat on there. I ain't gonna hold you. I've never been the biggest fan of like the the quote unquote the trap singing, if you will. But fam really talking about some stuff on there. He got some heat. I was impressed. So shout out to him.
Lil Baby can actually rap as a mainstream rapper, so to speak. I mean, and these air quotes, a mainstream rapper. Lil Baby ain't a slouch. You know what I'm saying? He can actually spit. He didn't outshine the Migos. You see, QC ain't checking for the Migos at all no more.
Don't do that, Long.
It's saying something from a QC point of view and from popularity point of view. I mean, because he pretty much deaded anything that they was gonna do.
But I thought you said out rapped. That's where I was like.
Well, I'm saying from a QC point of view, they're not worried about Migos anymore. Yeah. It's more pushing.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's more pushing him because he's so much better. But
yeah. There's a lot of music that's dropped this year. There's a lot of music. So as with every year.
Shout out to Duke Deuce too. That's my Vikes, man. Like
Craig G put out a really good EP.
I like Duke Deuce.
Yeah, Craig G had a nice record come out. Yeah. Shout out to Craig G.
Yeah, he's good.
Starlito had a cool album too. Paternity Leave was kind of solid.
Ciroc dropped a dope album.
Oh, I forgot about Sharecropper's Daughter. Yeah, fire.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, she's dope. Yeah, she's extremely dope. So a lot of music, man. Like it's almost
it's
hard to digest all that shit, man. But these are just the ones that stood out to us.
Yeah, I know we missed, and these are just handfuls. So if y'all want to throw some in the comment section, for those on YouTube, in the chat, for those on Twitch, you know what I'm saying? Feel free. Sharing is caring.
Join us on Discord. We're gonna create a thread here on in a music discussion.
Yeah, I need y'all to definitely me. I need y'all to definitely continue to put us on game, because I get excited when I hear, something new or something dope. And Dave Moore, I always credit him for this. He's one of the people that really checked me on the part about what he just said today about, man, you can't complain about it because it's dope music out there. He said that to me. I don't know, man. It was probably he might not even remember. 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, you know what? He's right. It's too much dope stuff out here for me to be worrying about stuff that don't matter. Just focus on what you like and support what you like.
Because you wasn't paying attention and bringing down the band at all.
No, I'm one of those people. Y'all have don't even get me started on that, on how much y'all have put people on, and never mind. I ain't gonna go down the road. All right, so
but now real talk though, that 21 Savage to as far as club shit, that 21 Savage would have won the club this year too.
Oh yeah, joint with Morgan Freeman.
I just like is that the Pen and Pixel joint? Is that one where they had the Pen and Pixel album cover? Okay, I ain't listened to that. I'm not that big of a fan. I ain't
with
really
Metro Boomin.
Yeah.
Shout out to St. Louis, Metro Boomin.
Hey, all right, man. I know. Jay Moore got to get to the people.
Well, wait a minute before we go any further. First of all, we have to give love and respect to Ecstasy from the group Whodini, who passed away.
Yes,
definitely.
This was like when I first started getting into hip hop. It was Run DMC, the Fat Boys, and Whodini. They were at the top of the game as far as rap groups, because pretty much every rap act was a group. And one of the things that Whodini had on lock is you have to remember, for the youngsters who are listening, there was a time when black radio did not mess with hip hop. The programmers from whatever city you were in to the biggest of the big. Shout out to Frankie Crocker. He's a pioneer. If you are in radio, you should know and do your research on Frankie Crocker, but he hated hip hop. And even when it was time to program BET, they didn't run showing a lot of love to hip hop. Whodini was that group that could actually bridge the gap a little bit, because as much as we loved Run DMC, they were hardcore for that time. And as much as we love the Fat Boys, I don't feel this way, but a lot of people felt they were a novelty group because, like, oh yeah, they're fat, look at them, this kind of some comedy shit. But when you talk about Whodini really was that group that your parents might like a little bit, because One Love was like kind of that first reaching out to the female listener, because One Love predates I Need Love by LL Cool J. If there's no One Love by Whodini, there's no I Need Love by LL Cool J. And then when you have a song like The Freaks Come Out at Night, like it kind of like your parents, in the 80s liked that record. You know what I'm saying? Because it felt like something they knew. And then when you have a song like Funky Beat, like it's just so much fun. At one point, that was the only song that Donnie Simpson liked as far as hip hop. As much as
because he was in a video.
Donnie Simpson,
exactly.
He gave rappers a hard time when they came on Video Soul. I remember him giving LL Cool J the blues when Walking with the Panther came out, because he thought it was too explicit. Just think about that. He thought Walking with the Panther was too explicit. So
but Donnie Simpson low key though. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Whodini made so many inroads, and like they don't get the props that they really deserve for helping hip hop get on. And I'm not talking about crossover. I'm talking about they helped hip hop get on black radio, because at one point, like, you got to understand, like,
Terry, when your first concert, Whodini?
From me, no,
my first concert ever. This is gonna tell my age right here. Whodini, my first concert was Fresh Fest, 84, 4.
There
and
you
it
go.
was Whodini, Nucleus, Run DMC.
Okay.
I can't remember who else was there. It might have been Mantronics might have been there as well. I can't remember, but I'm like 5, 6 years old at this concert with my brother and my mom. We didn't even stay at the concert the whole time because after a while, my mom was like, "Okay, this is a little bit too much for me," because she's definitely not somebody that appreciates hip hop like that. But
yeah,
Whodini is definitely that group. Every song that they had was a hit. Like literally every song that you seen or heard from Whodini was a hit, and most of it was due to the producer, which we've talked about plenty of times on the show, Larry Smith. But I mean, their concepts, their rap, their look, the videos, even. I want to say one of the videos was actually shot in Market Square Arena when they were on tour here. Like when they were out in the parking garage. So I mean, we got history.
I think the beginning of Freaks Come Out at Night, I've heard that before. Is actually when they're singing Friends. That's in Market Square Arena.
Yeah,
and there's a young Jermaine Dupri with the Jerry curl. That's actually here in Indiana.
Because I believe Jermaine Dupri's dad, I want to say, was the manager or
Michael
somebody A&R, somebody that signed Whodini. But I'm definitely with you when we write as far as Whodini being a pioneer of hip hop. Because to be honest with you, a lot of those Whodini records to me stood out more than Run DMC did. But Run DMC was more marketable.
And I want people to go back and do their Googles. Like, go back and look at the video for One Love. Like, it was one of the videos that, first of all, you could tell it's shot on a different level of film stock. They actually had a treatment for it. They actually hired like models and not, girls from around the way. Like, for 1986, this was an incredible hip hop video, just for the level of quality. So, I mean, I'm telling you, if you're a youngster, look at the videos from the rest of 1986 and look at the video for Whodini's One Love. It's far and above just better. It's the way everything's set up. It's just better. Like, so shout out to the point. And shout out to Whodini.
Y'all made the point about feel good. I think that's the biggest point. Is them records, man, like just the feel good records. And I always, associated them when I was younger. I always associated them with, oh, that's old boy that wears the hat. Like that automatically came to my mind was the hat that he used to rock all the time. And it was like, when I would listen to those joints, I'm like, all these joints feel really good. And they still go to this day, like legendary. You know what I'm saying? Like those are undeniable records. They more of something else.
Well, I said Theo. Malcolm Jamal Warner was in the Funky Beat video. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, like it's this iconic. That's an iconic group, man. So to lose him, man, as a member of them, like it's just. I'm glad people are showing love online. I'm glad people are really, reaching out and paying homage because those brothers was definitely pioneers. So that's a piece of Ecstasy, man.
It's like, sad too. Like I see Nicole said that there's a GoFundMe for his funeral, which is sad in itself. That just goes to show you that no matter how iconic that group was, the money wasn't right back then. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully these artists reach out and help take care of that. That should be without question.
I hope the OGs that are out here really showing love go ahead and get that thing squared away so his family don't even have to worry about it. They can all come together.
Yeah.
They got the bread for it. Let's go ahead and get them taken care of. And, if anybody that contribute, I could contribute to. I don't know how much it would be, but I really hope they don't have to have any issues with that because that's definitely a legendary member of the hip hop community, man. So that's a big loss. Let's go ahead and get out of here, y'all.
Also, too, real quick, I want to point out, since we're talking about rest in peace, there was a producer from here named Chris Kelly. I don't know if you're familiar, but he actually produced a lot of mainstream stuff that just recently passed within the last day or so too. He has Grammy nominated artists such as like 𝐀𝐿 and what's his name, Vine, and a few others that he actually produced for and engineered for. So definitely want to give a shout out to him as well.
I saw Joey French share that. I wasn't that familiar, but I'm glad you brought that up. That's actually Yeah, rest in peace to that brother. I'm gonna have to do my research and do a little more homework. Heard the name, but I wasn't as familiar as what you just said. So rest in peace to that brother as well. Make sure you guys go to YouTube, find the New Old Heads Network, subscribe. Are we at the goal? I feel bad because I didn't check. I know we were about 4 away last time.
No, we're not there yet, but
we're not there yet. Okay. Well, we need y'all to go sign up there. Make sure you come on to the Discord as well. Sign up for the crew, subscribe, especially if you got that Amazon Prime. I mean, we can spend that Bezos bread. Y'all come on in and subscribe.
Especially if you're on Twitch right now. You see it on there. Just push it.
Go ahead and hit that button if you're a Prime member. Let's go ahead and spend some of that money and give it back to the hood, like Lone said. And always subscribe to Bringing Down the Band on YouTube. As always, that is the hub for everything New Old Heads. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. You guys know the routine. And like I always say, I'm going to start saying, when you come back to Discord next week, when we get it popping, bring somebody with you. Tell a friend. If each person tells one person, this thing will really start growing. And we appreciate y'all as always. And we'll see y'all next week. Enjoy your New Year's. Be safe. Rock your mask. Sanitize, or just stay your ass in the house. Whatever.
Please, look, ladies, I just got to let you know this. If if you sick, stay home. If you thick, come on through. You know how we get down.
Hey, we love you.
Even if you sick and you thick, it's cool to come to the party, huh?
No. If you sick and you thick, still stay your ass at home.
Hey, we appreciate y'all chat, man. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We can't wait for y'all to carry over to the new year. We love y'all for sticking with us through all of these sessions when we started on Zoom to get in the Discord. Like whoever's been rocking with us through all that, we appreciate y'all. To Twitch. And yeah, we will see y'all in 2021. We appreciate the love. Stick around for the post show for a little bit. Peace.